I see a lot of posts out there, people that just have all these different questions about getting started. And it's like, where's your, where's your help? Where's your support? Who's getting you into the business and like gets you licensed and doesn't really show you the next steps from there. So that's what I just kind of wanted to go over today, just a kind of a plan that I put in place, and we'll go ahead and get started. Uh, so we are going to be going through, again, getting your business up and running, ordering leads, working leads, and then preparing to present. So again, pretty much everything from, like I said, you just got licensed and then you're trying to figure out where to go from here. So, well, first thing I think, especially if you're a broker agent and you're working with more than one company, you definitely want to learn the different carriers. You want to make sure that who to use for one scenario, who to use for another. But I think it's good to have maybe a lead carrier as well, one that you can kind of focus on and keep it simple. I mean, a lot of these different organizations, it's like they contract agents with 20, 30 different companies that are all doing the same thing. And in my opinion, it's just overkill. It's not necessary. You don't need 20 different final expense carriers. If an organization is trying to contract you with 20 different carriers, it could be because they're trying to totally control you to the point where, you could be pretty much stuck if you ever decided to make a move and you wanted to work somewhere else. You don't need that many carriers. I'd say, if you have one company that insures most of the people you talk to, that would be a good lead carrier. Someone that, again, you don't have to worry about too many different health issues getting turned down. Well, that would be a good company to lead with. And then maybe 2 or 3 other carriers for different scenarios. A lot of those scenarios we run into, a couple of them would be like COPD is one we run into quite a bit, where maybe your primary carrier doesn't take COPD day one coverage, but maybe you have a secondary that does. Another one we run into a lot is like diabetic neuropathy, not just diabetes alone, but when there's complications of diabetes. So that could be another one where it would be good to have like a secondary carrier. And then, height and weight's another one too. If you have a carrier that'll take height and weight where they don't even have a height and weight chart, that would be another good company as part of like your portfolio. And then I would say like a guaranteed issue. Right there, I mean, I'd say maybe 2, 3, 4 different companies is really all you need. And it should be enough where you're not going to have to walk away from much business. You don't have to sell, and I've talked about this a lot. You don't have to sell just based on the cheapest thing out there, because then I think you are maybe overcomplicating things a little bit for yourself. There's so many different companies. I mean, the rates though are so close from one company to the next. Maybe there's a few that are just a little outrageous, but for the most part, most companies are pretty close when it comes to rates. Someone's not going to cancel their policy over saving $1 a month or $2 a month. So if you're so focused on replacement, I mean, I don't think that that's something that you really have to worry about. If you're selling the value proposition that I've talked about in some of my other trainings, I'd recommend maybe go back and watch that too. Selling on value over price, a training I did about a month or so ago. But and again, as time goes on, if you feel the need to add additional carriers, go for it. But when you're first starting out, keep it simple. There's really no need to overwhelm yourself. I could see a lot of brand new agents getting completely overwhelmed where, I mean, they just got licensed. They're trying to learn all these different companies, and then they're going into houses. They're not really sure, who should I use for this? Who should I use for that? All these different scenarios. I mean, it's just overkill and could completely confuse an agent. It could get to the point where it's just not even enjoyable for them. And they just get to the point where they don't even want to be in the business anymore. So again, keep it simple. Keep it simple. You don't need to overwhelm yourself. You don't need to have 30 different carriers that do all the same stuff. Study the different carriers. I think it's very good to know the companies that you're working with, know their products, know their underwriting, have a good idea of how to write the business with them when it comes to the different e-apps that are out there and those processes. It's good to learn all those things. And then we have the toolkits. I've talked about this a lot. Those guys have done a great job with they've done a great job with putting something together that really makes the insurance agents life out in the field a heck of a lot easier. Even if you have a lead carrier, and I think it's good to have a lead carrier. If you don't have a lead carrier, it's going to be very difficult to make different company trips, to earn a bunch of different production bonuses and things like that. So if you have that lead carrier, great. But then it's those one-off scenarios, especially that toolkits has helped me a lot, where there might be a scenario I'm just not quite sure of. I'll plug in the different health issues. I'll plug in the different medications, and it'll provide you with the best options. You can see of those options that come up, which carriers you're contracted with. You can even set up the calculator to only show you the carriers that you're contracted with. So you don't have to see 30 different companies on there. That might even confuse you too. But if you don't have toolkits, I definitely recommend it. It's the cost of about maybe one lead, and it's something that will just make things a heck of a lot easier and make your life a lot easier out in the field. Don't be afraid to contact your upline manager if you have questions and you need help. That should be pretty self-explanatory. When I first got in the business, I would be in a home. I was 21 years old. I was, pretty young. 21 years old, out in the field, going into people's houses, just got my license. People asking me questions that I just wasn't really quite sure of the answer. And I all the time would say, well, you know what? Hold on. I'm not really sure, but would you mind? I'm going to call my manager real quick because I want to make sure I get you the right answer. And I think that my clients appreciated that, rather than me just stumbling around or trying to make something up that wasn't even true. I was taking that time to make sure I got the right answer for them. And I think your clients will appreciate you getting them the right answer, not just, like I said, just making something up. So definitely don't be afraid to reach out to your upline, whoever is helping you and supporting you and mentoring you. And if they're not doing a good job, and if they're not easily accessible, maybe you need to find somebody else to work with. 4 things that I feel are crucial to being successful in the final expense business, really probably any insurance part of the business, but money management, I think, is number one. You really got to be willing to manage your money and know how to manage your money. You got to be willing to set money aside. And we'll talk about that too. But I've had agents in the past that were great at selling, but they were not great at managing their money. And unfortunately, it got to the point where, they were doing stuff that they shouldn't have been doing. They were starting to replace their own business to make money because they were going broke, just doing unethical things that, if they knew how to manage their money right to begin with, they wouldn't have put themselves in that sort of situation. So, money management is, I think, crucial to your success. Consistently working and ordering leads. You got to have that steady flow of leads. I don't believe in unique scenarios. I've seen it in the past. Someone puts up all this premium and, it's this unique scenario. And I don't buy into it. I think that you have to have a steady flow of leads. Everything else to me is just an added bonus. And you got to have that structure. And I would say structure to your day and structure when it comes to learning a presentation. You don't want to be stumbling around in a house. I think it's great to have something, even if you have a presentation that you can show your client. That's what I have. I have a presentation that I put together. If you want a copy of it, let me know. You can shoot me an email, or you could just hop on my website, adambrsan.com, shoot over an inquiry, and I'd be happy to. My presentation, we ask a lot of questions. We get the client involved. They really understand the importance of final expense insurance, and it really hits home with them the way that we present. But not only that, I think if you ever want to build a team, it's much easier to build a team, and you can feel much more comfortable about the structure of your organization if you're teaching people the same way that you do it. And that's what I've always done. I mean, I'm teaching people my presentation, and then that way, if they want to recruit and bring agents on, everybody's on the same point. Everybody's doing things the same way. You can feel much more comfortable with them bringing agents on if you know that they're teaching them the way that you taught them. And if you know that, where that business is coming from when it comes to the leads, and work ethic. I talk about this all the time, work ethic. We can teach you as much as you want to learn, but what's the point in even learning it if you don't want to get out and do it? That's the key. I mean, you got to hold yourself accountable too. You can't play the blame game. You can't, oh, well, I wasn't trained enough or the leads weren't any good. It all boils down to work ethic. I've worked pretty much any sort of lead out there. I'm never going to blame the lead. I mean, you can get business really out of any leads out there if you put your mind to it. But, maybe quality of leads, maybe some are better than others. It's like anything else. You get what you pay for. But again, at the end of the day, it just comes down to getting out and going to work and putting that time in, not treating this like a 9-to-5 job, treating this like a 9-to-9 job. I kind of feel like my day never ends. I mean, this is always on my mind, always trying to make things better and figure out ways to generate more business myself and to generate additional business for agents. So again, let's get back to money management real quick. Setting money aside is crucial if you want to have long-term success in the final expense business. You got to have that steady flow of leads. And again, as a brand new agent, not me, but if you are a brand new agent, I could see this part of it maybe being a little bit eye-opening, maybe a little bit stressful. But again, I mean, it's part of the business. What I recommend doing is opening up a separate bank account, call it your leads account. And the point of that is so every time you earn a commission, transfer 30% of that deposit into your leads account, like you never even saw the money. And that's money that you're going to set aside for future lead orders. So when you are ready to place an order, you're already going to have the money set aside. And use the money again to place an order every single week. You don't want to take weeks off from ordering either. Just like everything else, even Chris Smith, we talk a lot. We're both part of the One Life Insurance group on Facebook. And, he told me, you've been real good with being consistent with your trainings every week, where you don't really care how many people are on the trainings, you still do them. And, people come on great. If they don't, I mean, they're going to catch your stuff on YouTube or wherever else anyways. But if people want to watch it live, at least you're consistent with always having that training every single Monday. And to me, it's just this whole business is about consistency and placing those lead orders. Same thing. You got to be consistent with placing the lead orders. You don't want to take weeks off. You take weeks off, you start to lose track. You start to lose focus. You start to fall behind. And then you're digging yourself out of a hole. So you got to be consistent with placing those lead orders every single week. I don't care if you're going on vacation. It doesn't matter. You need to be placing those lead orders every week. And just, remember, it takes money to make money. You do have to invest a little bit more your first few weeks. If you don't have money for leads, well, work your warm market and do whatever it takes to write business. I mean, I've always kind of had the mindset that if there's will, there's a way. If you really want to make it happen, you can make it happen. You just got to be willing to get out there and do it. I remember, there was some times when I was in the business where one company I was with, I was overfinanced. I had a bunch of leads, but I hadn't written a lot of business. And it was probably my fault. I probably let the leads either get old or just wasn't hustling. My first 3, 4, 5 years in the business, I was good. I was a top producer, but I feel like maybe work wasn't my top priority. I was too busy going out, doing other stuff. And, I really started to buckle down about maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years in there. But, first few years, I mean, yeah, I'd get to the point I might have been over financed on leads. The company might not send me any more leads. And I had to figure out a way to stay in business. It was either I figured out a way or I'd be going and doing something else. And I think a lot of people maybe have made that other decision rather than uh, putting that time in and figuring out a way to make it happen. Maybe they're moving on to other things. But again, we're money management that can, like we talked about, the consistency when it comes to ordering leads and just figuring out a way to make it happen. I mean, back then, you know what I did when I was over financed on leads? I found the neighborhood houses that were close together, an area where I had leads. And in my opinion, I figured, heck, if one person in this neighborhood filled the lead card out, I'm sure other people are being mailed to as well. And they're probably in a similar financial situation. So I went from one house to the next, did my little 30-second commercial and did what I could to get in the door. And all it takes is a few sales. You make a few sales, earn some commissions, you can get right back to ordering leads. So let's see. So let's talk about your warm market. And again, this is something that just, if you don't have any money to get started, you got to figure out a way to make some sales. You want to make some money so you can purchase some leads. Well, put together a list of 15 people that you know, and contact them. Let them know about your new career. And ask if you can come by to practice your presentation. Very simple. My company wants me to practice presenting to 15 people that I know to make sure I'm confident and ready to start selling to everyone. Would you be available for about 15 to 20 minutes tomorrow so I can come by and practice my presentation with you? It's as simple as that. And if people like you and they know you, they'll be willing to help you. And heck, if you can generate some business out of it, perfect. It's probably also going to be a great way to generate some referrals. And it's very low pressure. You can quote them. You can try to write a policy on them. If they're not in need, like I said, ask for referrals. Let them know how much referrals will really help you, being that you're just getting started in the business. And set a goal of writing 3,000 to 5,000. If you can get in touch with 15 people and sit down with them, I see no reason why you couldn't write 3,000 to 5,000 of annualized premium your first week off those warm leads. So again, this is just if you have no money for leads. And again, a lot of times when you're coming from maybe a situation that wasn't so successful, you might not have a lot of money to get started. And again, sometimes we just got to do things that maybe we don't want to do, but we have to do if we want to be successful. You can also cold door knock, like I mentioned. I mean, I've done it. I just told you a story about it. You pick out a neighborhood, houses that are close together, practice doing neighborhood enrollments. And again, I'd recommend areas middle to low income. And hi, my name is Adam, and I'm a benefits coordinator licensed with the state. And I've been assigned to do a neighborhood enrollment for a state-approved final expense program that will pay your family up to $50,000 in the event of your death to cover all funeral expenses. I just need about 5 minutes of your time to see if you qualify. Can I come in? It's as simple as that. And I mean, I've had people tell me that, they were just thinking about this. We were just thinking about this. I can't believe that you're at my house right now. Or they might slam the door in your face. But again, it's just a numbers game. The more houses that you knock on, the more opportunities that you're going to have of that one person telling you, yes, come in, and you make $500. So again, we're just talking about the hard way right now. We're going to get to the easier way here in a minute. And then you can call or you can even door knock a list. There's listshack.com. You can order Facebook age leads. You can even order age direct mail leads. Now, if you are calling a list, make sure that it is scrubbed for the do not call list. So you're only calling people that are not on the do not call list. And same thing, if you're calling aged Facebook leads, if they're over 90 days, you're going to want to make sure as well that they're not on the do not call list. Someone once told me, the great thing about taking the leads and going out in the field is that there's no such thing as a do not knock list. And so you can't get in trouble just for knocking on someone's door. So you don't have to worry about any kind of do not call list. So that, to me, that's the best bet, especially on an aged lead. Treat it like a new lead, get out in the field and go out and see the people. They're going to have no idea that it's something that they filled out last year. For all they know, they sent something back last week. So your first 4 weeks, and this is just kind of like to me, what I feel is like a path to having that consistent success. And this is something that we're talking about weeks 1 through 3, and then weeks 4 and on, where you're just going to want to do this every single week from here on out. Your first 3 weeks, like I mentioned earlier, you got to remember, I mean, it takes money to make money. You're going to have to spend a lot more money your first 3 weeks because you're going to be ordering leads, not just for right now, but you're going to be ordering leads for next month. And what I mean by that, well, you're going to order Facebook leads, but then you're also going to order direct mail leads. Well, the direct mail leads, there's about a good 4 to 5 week turnaround time a lot of times on the direct mail leads. So you want to make sure to place an order for the Facebook. Those are for today. Those are for now. You place that Facebook lead order now. Within a few days, you're going to have those leads coming into you. And then the direct mail in 4 weeks, figure a month from now, you're going to at least have those coming in as well. So anyways, any sales that you make off those Facebook leads that you order, transfer 30% of your commissions earned into a separate bank account for future lead orders. And then you should have direct mail leads coming in, by the 4th week, and then you can continue to place those orders. But remember, weeks 1 through 3, you want to do the same thing every single week, 1, 2, and 3. Don't change it up. You want to just be consistent with it. Weeks 1, 2, and 3, and then week 4. By then, your direct mail lead should be coming in. Now, if you're having success on the Facebook leads, keep working the Facebook leads. But if you're not, then maybe transition into the direct mail. To me, I like direct mail a lot better than the Facebook leads. I mean, we're generating some Facebook leads right now that are really good. But I still prefer working the direct mail. And the main reason is because the direct mail are just so much closer together. I mean, I can place a lead order in a zip code, and then I have leads that are within a few minutes of each other, where the Facebook leads, they could be spread out all over the place, where, again, time is money. Maybe a Facebook lead is cheaper, but if I'm not able to get in front of as many people throughout the day because I'm doing a lot more driving in between stops, well, I mean, I'd rather pay more money for a lead where everything's closer together, because I'm just going to have that many more opportunities and that many more people to see throughout the day. So yeah, Facebook, they're good for right now. If I need leads right now to work, perfect. But again, long-term, I think you want to get to the point where you just have that steady flow of direct mail coming in every week. So again, once the direct mail start coming in, just continue placing the lead order every single week. If anything, you could increase it to maybe 25 leads. And then maybe even to 30 leads. And then let's see. And then, as I mentioned, continue transferring 30% of every commission into your leads account every week. And so, all of that is fine and dandy, and it works. I mean, I've worked with over 1,000 agents in my career, and teaching agents that whole method of money management, putting things together, being consistent with it. The only problem with all of that is that, kind of getting back to the work ethic and also talking about the consistency. Well, if the agent doesn't do their part, they can fall off track. And I also feel too that it could be kind of taxing on a brand new agent to have to do all that. It's hard enough to learn everything, hard enough to learn the different carriers, the products, the underwriting, the different applications, like we talked about, the different methods of writing that business. It's hard enough for agents to learn all that. And then, I mean, then they got this whole other side of their business where they got to focus on their marketing, their management, their making sure that lead orders are placed every single week. And, and it can be difficult. So that, and then as we mentioned, especially people that don't have any money to get started, agents that maybe they came from another opportunity. They just hadn't been successful. They weren't making a lot of money. They don't have money to invest in a new opportunity. It's like they're, I see people posting online all the time. Is there any places out there that offer free leads? Like, not really. It's not, you're not going to find many free lead places unless you're on a very, very low comp. So, but anyways, I do have a solution for those of you that maybe are in those sort of scenarios. Maybe you're brand new, like I mentioned, and maybe you want to get out there and work. You don't want to deal with the hassle of everything else. And I mean, I have 20 years of experience of doing this, knowing how many leads to order, where to order them, how often, all that stuff, where I can actually help and assist and do pretty much that whole side of the business for you. And what I'm talking about is actually our organization's lead program. Unity Life Group is the name of our agency. I'm actually the owner. And the lead program that we put together, we invest money into leads for you so long as you are willing to get out to work. And that's it. As long as you're willing to go out and work, you're never going to have to worry about the money side of it, or even the ordering side of it. We take care of all that for you. The way that it works, few steps. Well, first, of course, I mean, you'd have to contract through Unity Life Group. You'd have to be one of our agents in order to take advantage of this. And you're going to need a contract with the different carriers that we work with. This program, we only need maybe 3 or 4 different carriers. We don't need a bunch. But again, in that business, of course, is expected to be written through our carriers. Every week, the agent, will receive 20 to 30 leads in your area at zero upfront cost to you. Like I mentioned, you're ready to get going. You just don't have money for leads. I don't want agents to have to worry about that side of the business. Don't worry about the money for leads. Don't worry about, I hope I have leads coming in. I'll take care of that part for you. I'll make sure you have leads on a regular basis. All you got to worry about is going out and seeing the people. So like I said, if you're willing to do the work, I'll help you take care of the rest. So the way that it works then, when a sale is made, 50% of your earnings goes towards the upfront lead cost, and the other 50% goes straight to you. So you are paying for the leads, but you're paying for the leads on the back end. And it's been working really well. We have agents right now that are working consistently 30 leads every single week, and they don't have to worry about our leads going to be coming in. They don't have to worry about the money to pay for the leads. All they have to worry about is going out and selling, and it all pays for itself. And once the balance is cleared, you will receive your full commission. It takes about 1 to 2 sales a week on average to clear your lead balance. So I would say on average, the average weekly expense is between about $600 and $800. So figure right there, you make $1,600 in commission. Well, heck, your leads are paid for. Everything else that you earn that week, you're seeing the full commission on. These free lead programs that something like that might sound fine and dandy, but you're always going to be on that low comp. You're never going to see a nice, good size commission. Here, we're doing all the work for you when it comes to the marketing and putting the leads in your hands. As I mentioned, all you got to worry about is going out and working, and 1 to 2 sales is going to clear that balance, and you're going to see those full commissions every week. So if you want more information on this, let me know. I'd be more than happy to maybe set up a call with you. We can kind of talk about how it's working, but we've really ramped it up, I'd say, over the last couple months, and we're really, really taking off and seeing a lot of production coming in, and it's really helping a lot of agents. So And that's what we're here for. I want to see agents succeed. I want them to be here long term in the business. And especially when you're first getting started, just focus on learning the business, learning the carriers, all that good stuff. We'll put the leads in your hand. We'll have people for you to go see. So wanted to talk a little bit too about appointment setting tips, because what I recommend doing, take those leads as soon as they come in, get on the phone. Our Facebook leads, you get a text message. The second that lead comes in, you get a text message with that person's name, their phone number, and you can get on the phone and you can call that person right then and there. I mean, that's the best time to reach them. It's like at the peak of their interest. They just saw this posting and they submitted their information on it. So you can actually call right then and there and try to set up the appointment. That would be number one, what I would recommend. After that, I would kind of follow this. Use first names only. Make calls every day. I mean, you want to set up your schedule so you have appointments all day. You don't want to have to call at 5 o'clock at night, because I hope you're still out at 5 o'clock at night selling. The reason it works, you might think that calling people at 8 o'clock at night is a little late. And I disagree. I kind of feel like when you call people at 8 o'clock at night, that's when they're kicking back. They're relaxed. They're probably just sitting around watching TV. A lot of my clients, they have grandkids that they watch all day, where they really don't have the time to talk to somebody on the phone at that time, or they're not wanting to. They'll hang up on you. So the chances of somebody answering, and that's another thing too, telemarketers. How many telemarketers are calling people at 8 o'clock at night? Not many. So when you call at 8 o'clock at night, there's just a much better chance that person's going to answer the phone. So 8 to 9 o'clock at night, I recommend no earlier. And try to set up appointments, especially once you transition to the direct mail. You should be able to do this. Appointments on the hour, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 o'clock the latest. That way you're out of there by 7:30. You can get home to make your phone calls at night to set up the next day. And then I don't recommend setting appointments, any earlier than 10 a.m. for the next day. The reason I say that is because, anybody that you can't get a hold of at night, well, then you can get on the phone in the morning time and you can call. And, and another option would be to hire an appointment setter. I personally use an appointment setter because when I'm not out in the field, my focus is on what I'm doing right now, talking to you guys and working with agents and supporting and training and all that stuff. So I want my appointments set for the week. I don't have the time to do it myself, because my end goal is to build up this organization to the point where, I don't have to sell anymore. And I had that, I'll have that much more time to help you guys. So, but again, direct mail, you can set them up on the hour. Again, 9 to 10 in the morning, you can call and you can set up appointments for later that day. The closer to the time that you're going to meet with that person to when you are calling, the better. I hope that makes sense. I hope I said that right. So like, if you're calling on Monday, you want to call for Tuesday. I wouldn't call any later than Tuesday. You set up appointment for Wednesday, there's a good chance they're not going to be there. I can almost guarantee they're not going to be there Thursday or Friday. Or if they are, they just forgot and they're going to be kind of surprised when you're there. But yeah, like I said, one day out, it would be best. Two days out, maybe max, but I really wouldn't recommend it. So call Monday for Tuesday, or you can call Tuesday morning for Tuesday. Okay. That's what I would do. And then, and the same thing, just every single day, that's how I set it up. And then that way you have a full day of appointments. Any gaps in your schedule, then I would recommend to door knock the leads, the people that don't answer their phone, because you're going to have people that you could call them 100 times and they're going to not answer their phone 100 times. You're just going to have people that you're going to have to door knock if you ever want to get anywhere with that lead. So take those leads and door knock them in between your appointments, because realistically, you're probably not going to have appointments set up every single hour. You can try. It'd be great if you did. But especially when you first get started and you don't have that huge inventory of leads, then you're going to have a little bit of time in between. The direct mail, this is just one example of one of the direct mails. One of the vendor that we're using on the lead financing for the direct mail, I use Needle Lead. I like them. They even have a lead portal where agents can go right into the portal. They can log in, they can download and access their leads. And what I like about that too, you can go back 6 months later and you could even re-download them and rework them, people that maybe you were never able to get a hold of. So, so that's just one example of one of the direct mail pieces. And it's just very simple. You may qualify for a state regulated program to pay for your final expenses. It's important to see how you qualify for this life insurance benefit available to you. This benefit will pay 100% of all funeral expenses up to $35,000. It's a tax-free payment for Illinois residents. Fill this card out. So that's one example. I mean, other examples might not say life insurance on it. To me, that's fine too. I mean, I ordered, God, I don't know. I ordered about 125 leads about 2 months ago. And I mean, I set up a ton of appointments and wrote a ton of business off of the direct mail. And the lead piece said nothing about life insurance on it. It said final expense, but it didn't say life insurance. And I had no problem setting up those appointments and getting in the houses and making sales. If you don't know what to say on some of the leads when you get in the house, reach out to me and I'd be happy to kind of go through that. As I mentioned, I have the presentation too that I can send you. So direct mail phone script. Hello, Mary. Yeah, my name is Adam, and I'm a state licensed underwriter calling about the yellow request card that I received back from you that you had just sent in. I just needed to verify a few things with you real quick. Now, you put down that you're 70 years old. Is that correct? And I have your address at 1050 Park Lane. Is that correct? Okay, great. And I know your phone number is correct because I wouldn't be speaking to you. And they'll usually laugh. And then real simple, I'm going to be in your area tomorrow to go over your benefits. And I just need to see if 10 a.m. works for you. It's as simple as that. If no, then suggest another time. Okay, I have another opening at 2:30. Is that better for you? And then if still no, well, have them tell you what time they're available. Okay, great. It will only take a few minutes to go over what you qualify for and take care of you. And then this just kind of, again, is your address a house, apartment, or mobile home? What color is it? Any cars outside that'll help me identify your house? Just little things like that. Those are things that are going to make your job easier. Even if you show up and they're not there, they blow you off. Well, they already told you what kind of car they have. So the next time you go around, if you see that car in the driveway, then there's a good chance that they are home then. And then back to the script, just so you know, it's me. I'll have my state ID badge with me, and I'm a tall white guy, so I'm easy to spot, and they'll usually laugh. And you can even let them know maybe what kind of car you're driving. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Great. Have a great day. So it's as simple as that. Tips to help you the most when you're out in the field. How to prepare. A few things that I recommend. There's so many different routing softwares out there, different routing apps. I mean, you could even have an old Garmin, and you can put the routes in that way, as long as it'll take you from point A to point Z. I use one that's called En Route. I think it's like $4.99 a month on Apple. I know there's other ones. They're called like Road Warrior that work pretty well too. I might do a training that's just focused on how I organize my leads and how I put my routes together and all that. I think that could be kind of useful. Yeah, maybe that's something that I'll do because we don't have time to go through all that today. But En Route, it's really good. You can put together routes. You could put a route together with 50 leads if you want, or even like 100 leads if you wanted to. Notability, that has really, really come in handy for me. That's an app that I use. It's on the phone, but it's also on the iPad. I primarily use it on my iPad. Well, for one thing, you could use it even if there's like paper applications that you have to fill out, or maybe you get an amendment that needs to be signed, little things like that. I mean, you could get an amendment that needs to be signed. You could download it. It's right on your tablet. You wouldn't have to go get that amendment printed out, and then you wouldn't have to scan the amendment and upload it and all that extra steps. With the with the notability, I mean, you could have them sign it right on the app, and you could email it or submit it back through one of the agent portals if you have to. Notability also is what I use for all of my leads. I keep all of my leads in there, and what's nice about it is there's like a search feature in there. I could search by like the zip code that I'm working in, and all the leads that I have that are in that zip code are all gonna pop up, and then I'll see how much time I have. I'll go through those leads and I'll put a route together. Another thing with that en route, once you put a route together, you can save the pins on the map. So the same thing, I kind of use those two together, notability along with the en route. And what I do on the en route, I can actually circle on the map. I can circle on the map like where I'm at, and I can circle all the little pins that are within the area that I'm working. It'll automatically put a route together, and then all I have to do is search for the address on notability of the lead, and just one to the next to the next. Honestly, it's a time saver. I used to be very unorganized when it came to my leads, and I had printed off leads shuffled all over the place in my car. The notability for me is just a much easier way to stay organized. I have a note file on this notability right now that has like 500 leads in it. And like I said, all I have to do, and if it really got too big, I could always make separate folders in there if I needed to. But I just base it right off of the zip, and it'll give me all the leads that are within that area that I can put a route together. Again, you have a no-show and you have an hour to kill. Well, I want to be able to put the route together as fast as I can to go see a few people before my next stop. So that's where that notability really helps. So, but anyways, when the leads arrive, and again, I'd recommend if in between appointments, I think setting up those appointments and having that structure is good. But in between appointments, put that route together with all of your leads that you weren't able to get a hold of. And you can add in multiple addresses, as I mentioned. It'll optimize the order. So, like, let's say you have an appointment at a certain address, you can make that your last stop. And then the first point is where you're currently at. And then you can shuffle the leads to the fastest route. And it'll take you from each lead all the way to the final lead, which is your appointment. And the goal is just to get in one house in between those appointments. But like I said, it makes it real easy to put those routes together, and the notability to stay organized with all of my leads right on there. And like I mentioned, you could do it on your phone. I prefer using my iPad for that. And you can make notes right on the lead. I was there at 10:30. They weren't home, so I'll make a note of that right on the lead. I do a lot of stuff. I color code the locations and stuff and notability to kind of match the points that are on the map. A lot of stuff. Like I said, I think that's a whole nother training. But yeah, put the route together, begin the route, and just show up one house to the next. And if the lead's not home, make a note of what time that you were there. And then and this is kind of old here because we don't need to do this anymore. I use the notability. I set up different folders in notability. I have my AM leads, and then I have my PM leads. So if there's leads that I know the only time that I could really catch them is at night, then I'm going to use that section. I mean, this is the old school. I need to update this where I just said to get an index card holder. That works as well if you want to print out all the leads. But like I said, notability, showing the lead to the person right on the iPad has worked out just fine for me, and it's helped me to stay organized. But that way, like if you're in an area, people that maybe I would recommend, people that you've tried a few times during the day, and you have leads after 5 o'clock, you got to run. Focus on those leads. Focus on that folder of leads that you have, and try to reach those people. You can go back to your new leads the next day and try to hit those during the day. But the nighttime ones, yeah, do what you can to get a hold of those people right away. And then let's see what to wear. We're breaking it all down today. I mean, keep it casual, business casual, I would say. I mean, in the summertime, I wear a shirt like what I'm wearing right now, just like a golf shirt. And then I wear golf pants. I have like some Under Armour golf pants. They're real lightweight. They're real comfortable. I just wear those with the golf shirt and some dress shoes, and that's it. In the wintertime, when it's cold, I mean, I'll even wear jeans. I don't have any problem with people not letting me in because I'm wearing jeans, at least for final expense. I'll wear jeans with maybe with like a nice shirt, a nice sweater, and a winter coat when it's cold out. And but keep the client comfortable. Don't look intimidating. I mean, I've seen you show up at the house and you're wearing a suit. To me, that's intimidating. They might think you're a detective or something. They might not want to let you in. So keep it simple. What to take to the door? Uh, well, I mean, anything that you need to sell a policy. I mean, I've heard people tell their agents before to just uh, keep your car running and leave the door wide open and just knock on the door like you're just there to say hi. I'd be afraid someone would run up to my car and steal it. Or I could turn around to go back to the car and get my stuff, and that person might just slam the door and not let me in. So, no, I mean, pull up to the house, get out of the car, anything you need to write a policy, go up to the door, knock on the door, and do what you can to get in. It's as simple as that. Uh, my door knock approach. Hi, Mary. I'm Adam. I'm a state licensed underwriter, and I have your request here that you sent in a little while back. And you can point to, like I said, I just show them right on my iPad. And I have a little time before my next appointment. It should take about 10 minutes. Can I come in? It's as simple as that. You don't need to over explain yourself at the door either. I think that's where maybe there's agents that they have trouble getting in the door on a lead that doesn't say insurance on it or life insurance. They're over explaining. This is simple and easy. I'm a state licensed underwriter. I have your request you sent in a while back. You show it to them. I have a little time before my next appointment. It should take about 10 minutes. Can I come in? They know why they sent it in. They know what it's for. They sent the thing in. You don't need to explain it at the door. That's your job once you get in the house. So that's about all I had today. I hope if you like what you heard, sign up for some future trainings. AdamBrsan.com. You can fill out the inquiry on there, and I'll add you to the list, and you'll receive an email every single week of future trainings. You can also go to AdamBrsan.com for training and check out the YouTube. All of these trainings are on YouTube. They're edited and loaded up without dogs barking and stuff in them, and me having to get up every 5 minutes. So sorry about that. But yeah, check out the YouTube channel. You can go back and watch this later, get a little refresher if you'd like. And thanks again. Thanks again for coming on. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you have a great week. Reach out to me with any questions if you want to learn more about Unity Life Group and the lead financing program that we have and how we can take total control of your marketing, where all you have to worry about is going out and selling and seeing people. And you don't have to worry about figuring out how you're going to generate leads and how you're going to pay for them every week. Reach out to us. I'd be more than happy to help you. It's a great program. It's been very successful for a lot of people so far. So thanks again. Have a great week. Look forward to seeing you next. Thanks.